taking us to it's time for hot matchups presented by Wingstop. And you want a matchup that got a whole lot hotter than it was with 2 minutes to go in the game on Monday night. Kirk Cousins and the resurgent Atlanta Falcons playing host to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, who were favored, Greg, by 3.5 points on Sunday Night Football with Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth and everybody at NBA.
Is it hotter? I mean, see, I'm a dark human, and if they were 0-2, I would be on like Michael Penix's watch, and so that would make it feel
you and a whole lot of other people.
It would just make it like all the bigger. And now they've sort of bought themselves some time. People would understand if they lose this game. I think the Falcons have a chance to win this game because I just think the Chiefs, they've just been okay so far. I know they've won the games, but I think you do got to look past that. Sometimes they are 18th right now in DVOA. That's total team efficiency. 22nd in defense, 12th in offense. Asking a lot out of Xavier Worthy. Now there's no Isaiah Pacheco. You're shorthanded there. Travis Kelce hasn't broken 40 yards on the season yet, like total. So that's just something to keep an eye. And they make up for it. They still have great players. They have Patrick Mahomes. They have great coaches, but they strike me as a little bit of one of those Patriots teams coming off the Super Bowl wins. That's like, yeah, they'll find their ways to wins, but sometimes it's a little bit on fumes, and it's just not all there yet.
You nailed it. I mean, when I saw the 3.5, I was like, that almost seems big. Not because I think the Falcons are just going to have an answer for everything, but right now they're just kind of getting by. I mean, you knew the Ravens was going to be a tough game. You saw how challenging of a game that was, and the Ravens made some second half adjustments, but they're just kind of getting through it. Now the Falcons are feeling a little spicy. You talk about this, sponsorship, this hot Wingstop spicy spot. They're feeling good about themselves because you saw what Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier did in that run game. That offensive line, the new OC Zach Robinson said, "Oh, this offensive line is designed to run the ball. Let's do that." Now that's tough sledding when you're going up against Stone Cold Jones and Nick Bolton and some of the Drew Tranquil and guys like that for Kansas City. But they're going to stick with it. I mean, they're not going to put too much pressure on Kirk Cousins, especially with the way that the Chiefs can dial up some pressures. But I think this is going to be a competitive ball game. Again, maybe not so much because of what the Falcons do, but because the Chiefs are just kind of, we're here and there. One quick thing, though, the fact that not having Pacheco, that's a good point. The Falcons linebackers in that game against the Eagles did not play well. They did not
Week one,
play
they
well.
weren't good either.
They just did not look good. And if you can run the ball, if Kareem Hunt can come in and remember some of the plays, Kansas City can get that run game going. It is there for the taking unless all of a sudden they sink Simmons or Jesse Bates, who is out of this world in that game Monday night, can make a lot of plays.
Well, Jesse Bates is going to have to be out of this world in this game because I understand you're asking a lot of Worthy as well as maybe Juju Smith-Schuster. If Patrick Mahomes has the amount of time that Jalen Hurts had on Monday night.
Good point.
I sincerely don't care.
Great point.
Because I'm all on Lou Anarumo for rushing 3 on 4th and 16, and it's like if Mahomes has time, of course, like the game goes and the Chiefs are up and down every single year. But just watching like the sheer amount of time that Jalen Hurts could watch, the one time that he didn't have time was towards the end when he throws that pick looking for Devontae Smith because that's the only place he was going. I can't see. I need Atlanta, the number 32 pressure rate defense in the league. 32.
But Patrick,
whoa,
the Chiefs just benched their left tackle, right? This is not the Eagles' offensive line.
He'll probably be back in this week, but yes, it shows that they've got weaknesses.
Because Judon did play well. He's just got he's playing better. I mean, look, he played better. He wasn't but in terms of pressure, he was the one guy who can win.
32nd in pressure rate, though. That is probably Grady Jarrett's looked okay. Onyemata is on my radar because I've watched him closely his whole career, and he's another one of those guys I mentioned. Amari Cooper's kind of one of those guys. Either it's great or it's just not your year with Onyemata. Like, you think of him as a great player. In some years, he's great, and there were just a couple of those Saints years where it's like, where are you, man? And that's what it's been the first 2 weeks. I do think the Falcons have a chance. So they just have to you mentioned it. The offensive line just has to dominate. If the offensive line mashes and protects, like, they got a shot. They got a shot.
Bijan goes for 212 or 2 scores. And he has a Texas line coming up.
He could. He's the best. I'm already ready to put him there. He's the best running back in the NFL. He's the guy I would want if I just had one. Right?
It's a reasonable proposition.
Saquon's
right there. Probably 1-2 in that game. Probably 1-2 in that game.